Fast Money. Women in My Life. Starring Langston 2092. Yeah. So, you know how it goes in Langston 2092's life. You have your ups, and then you have your downs. Like, it gets real. Like, most of my life has been where I got up to a certain point and I just thought everything was going right. And next thing you know, a nuclear bomb hits and all that I built blows up. And it's a complete disaster. And that's how it's been in my life. So what I'm about to tell you, this is nothing new to you all. This is just another downfall. It's a shame, but somebody has to go through it in order for the next person, the next man, or the next woman won't have to. I had to go through these pitfalls in life so that you won't have to. You see, let me tell you something before I begin. When I got with Kay, the chick that I was seeing from Spanish Harlem, that was 5 years older than me, that stayed with her aunt, and that moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, and she was only here for a few months. When I got with her, see, I didn't think about the future. All I thought about was the physical, how she made me feel, how she was able to make me feel, how she gave me blowjobs, or rather fellatio, how she used to like doing freaky nasty stuff, like I would come on her and on her face, and she would take it and lick it off, and just some of everything. Like she would lick it off my thigh if I got it on my thigh. Just nasty, freaky stuff. I mean, of course, anal, that was a given. So I was wrapped up into how she made me feel, how she looked. It was more of an infatuation than a love. So I wasn't thinking long term. I wasn't thinking about having a family with her. I wasn't thinking about what was her background. What type of level of education did she have? Did she have a 401k plan set to the side? Did she have health insurance? Is she going to be a liability in my life? Are we going to be able to build together? In other words, what is she bringing to the table? And had I thought that way, I would have came to the conclusion that we never should have been together. Because both of us were trying to improve our lives. And when you're trying to better yourself, right? You don't get into long-term relationships or relationships, period. This is the reason why a lot of women that you all may call gold diggers are really not. They're looking for a man that has more or just as equal to that person. In other words, they want to be in a relationship with someone that's responsible. You know, I never asked Kay what was her credit score, and she never asked for mine either. Those things count. They count when you're trying to get a house or apartment. They count when you're trying to get a car. And based on your score, your credit score, this is what I learned throughout all these years. It took me a long time to learn it. Numbers count, the person doesn't. So it's a numbers game when it comes to this society. And if your credit score is high, you get to live in a nice neighborhood where there's no shootouts and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about your son going outside and being peer pressured to sell drugs. If your credit score is low, you're going to be in a poverty-stricken area. If your credit score is high, you get to walk into a car dealership and drive out without putting any money down in a nice car. If your credit score is low, you'll be messing around with drive time these weekly car dealerships that you see out in the streets. And it's just that plain and simple. So this is the reason why I'm telling you all this stuff, so you can learn from me. Be more responsible when you choose who you mate with, because I did. Let's begin. So everything was going great, you know what I'm saying? You know, me and Kay, you know, we was doing our freaky nasty stuff as usual, and she would wear lingerie, and you know, I would go out there, I would sell, you know, those clothes that I was talking about, the sample clothes. Also, I was still selling movies and everything. And then one day, you know, the dude, you know, her ex-boyfriend that was calling and saying that he was a friend and everything, he called, and you know, the conversation got a little bit weird. You know, I would find her, you know, walking away when he called and going into another room and closing the door and smoking a cigarette. And then when I went in there to smoke a cigarette, you know, everything got quiet. So one day she popped the question on me, and I was like, "Are you serious?" But she was dead ass serious. She was like, you know, he wants me to go down south with him to South Carolina, and you know, so you know he can see his mother, and I know his mother and everything. And I'm like, yo, we're together. What are you talking about? And you talking about spending the night? Like you getting out of hand with this, right? So I was like, hell no, what are you talking about? So of course, you know, made a long story short, ex-boyfriend trying to get the punani, and it was just all a plot and scheme in order to get the punani. So once I said no, and he knew that things wasn't going down a certain way or whatever have you, he stopped with the clothes. You know, of course he was gonna do that, right? So my money got cut short there. Then the movies, you know, 9/11 happened. So believe it or not, everything slowed down. It was like we was into like a real, like a what do you call it? I forgot, the recession. It's like we fell into a small recession. So people weren't buying movies as much as they were, and you know, I was like selling CDs as well. People weren't really buying that. Believe it or not, even the guys in the streets, the drug dealers, they didn't, their weed connect, their coke connect, all of that got deaded. You know what I'm saying? Everything just slowed down after 9/11. I don't know why, but it just slowed down. And I found myself nickel and diamond. So one day, you know, I ran across this dude. I was selling my CDs at this gas station, the CDs and movies. And I ran across this dude, and he had some weed. I was like, yo, you know, you could hook me up or whatever? He was like, yeah. So he came through, and I bought an ounce off of him, and I started selling nicks and dimes, right? So here I am, I'm selling nicks and dimes. And once again, I'm doing the same retarded stuff that I was doing in college, because I know the end result was there's no money in weed. There's no money in weed. You barely double your money when selling an ounce. You know, the money is in weight. So here I am, I'm selling. I'm seeing it's not getting me nowhere. So I just stopped buying the weed. And, you know, it's like things are starting to change. The financial situation is starting to change. Now, you know, the money's getting scarce, and, you know, me and Kay, our relationship is slowly, you know, dying out, because she's like, I can't take poverty. You know, you taking me through this and that and so forth. So, you know, it took a couple of months, but I wound up getting a job, right? So I got this job at this place called TTC. Now, taking heed, I did not want to get a job, but I knew that was the only way that I was going to get out of this financial bind that I was in. That was the only way that I was going to be able to win my girl back, Kay, at that time, right? So, first day, you know, is orientation. We all are sitting in a circle. It's like me and like 8 other people, right? And they're going around asking, you know, where you're from, and you know, what did you do prior to working here, and blah 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 blah, right? So it was this one dude that stuck out, right? I'm gonna call him Ricky. Pretty Ricky is what they call him. You know, they asked him where he was from. Now, taking heed, Ricky had on some khakis, button-up shirt. He had like waves on the top, fade on the side, part like a Nas part. It wasn't curved. I think it was like slanted. And I think he might have had on some glasses too, right? And he just didn't look like, he looked real preppy, right? And they were like, so where you from, Ricky? And he talked real preppy too. He was like, well, I'm from Brooklyn, and I've been down here for a couple months. That's how he talked, right? And he was like, I'm from the roughest part of Brooklyn, Brownsville, pink houses. And he just kept on going on. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him like, wow, this dude it doesn't add up. It doesn't match. You see what I'm saying? Like the way he looks, and then the area that he's talking about, where he's from, Brownsville, New York, was at one point the murder capital of USA. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting here listening to him, and I'm like, you know what? That dude is funny. You know what I'm saying? Cause he looks a certain way, he carries himself a certain way, but at the same time, I can tell that everything that he's saying is the truth. You understand? So we wind up somehow talking, right? It was like, I think it was lunch break one day. We wind up somehow talking. So I was talking to him and letting him know, I was born in New York, blah, 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 this and that, so forth. I ran it down to him. And we wind up getting like real cool. So I told him about the situation as far as like me being messed up in the game. I don't have no money. I forgot to tell y'all, but the whole stripper thing, that got deaded too. I remember like, I went into the strip club and just the strippers, they weren't really buying anything because they were affected by 9/11 too. When those twin towers fell, it really crushed the whole, I at least say in Greensboro, it crushed us. It killed us. Like we weren't making any money. So I would go to the strip clubs at time and I would make $20. And then, stuff started getting real weird. I'm looking at them a different way now. I understand that they stripping for a particular reason and this and that and so forth, but it's like I'm seeing a real now. Them going in the VIP room sucking a dude off or getting banged, a gang bang, and then they come back in the locker room, and I'm not lying. There were no showers or nothing like that. They would take a rag, wipe themselves off, and spray some like Victoria's Secret perfume stuff and go right back out there and dance or go to the VIP room with somebody else. And it was just like, that is disgusting. That is nasty. I remember one time, I'm gonna get back on the subject. I remember one time, this girl came in and she was like, yo, does anybody gotta pee? I'm like, why? She was like, she opened the door, she cracked it, and she was like, you see that white dude over there? He wants me to pee in a cup so he can drink it, and he'll pay me for it. And I'm like, shit, that's disgusting. But that was the things that were going on. And guess what? You know what I did? I peed in the cup, and she gave it to him, and he drank it. But it was just getting, everything was just collapsing. My whole life was collapsing. I would come home, and, from work, and I guess, the R. Kelly song was playing in my mind. When a woman's fed up and you can't something. I would come home and it wouldn't be no hugs, no kisses or nothing. It was like Kay, she was just like, we stopped having sex. I mean, just everything, right? And so I would tell, Pretty Ricky, that, all my whole situation and what I was in. So he was like, yo, man, I can help you with that, right? So I was like, yo, how can you help me? He was like, give me a couple of days. I'm gonna get some things situated and I'll help you out with some money or whatever, right? Now, taking heed, Pretty Ricky, he was from Brownsville and he did his thing up there. So he really didn't need to work. He worked because, he wanted to keep, his money up, but he really didn't need to work. He had about $10,000 saved in the bank. There would be days where he would just miss because TTC wasn't like a real job. I mean, it was a telecommunications job, and you can come when you want to come. And if you want to come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then just not come Thursday and Friday, you didn't have to come, right? So he would take days off while I had to bust my tail working 10-hour days, going in first shift and then saying to myself, oh man, I gotta get this money, we gotta pay this rent, this and that, so forth, because we almost got evicted. You know what I mean? So I would be at work for hours upon hours upon hours. He didn't have to do that. So one day, he had a Toyota Solara. What was it? The whatchamacallit? The sunroof, not the sunroof, but I forgot the name of the. Anyway, he had a Toyota Solara, right? Convertible. That's what I was about to say. He was like, "Yo, man, take it for a ride." And right across the street from where we worked at, there was a college called UNCG. So I drove through, with the roof back, the convertible. It's sunny, it's hot, and the bros are looking at me. I'm like, wow, man, this is amazing. And I'm thinking about Pretty Ricky, like, yo, man, that's cool of him to let me drive his car and just blow up some steam and everything. And I already told him my license was revoked, and he still let me drive, right? So I come back and I took the car for lunch break, and then I came back, and then we started to talk, and he was like, yo, listen, I could put you on, and I'm like, what's up? He's like, yo, because you could do something for me. I'm like, what is it? He's like, yo, I'm gonna give you a gun. You take the gun, get on a Greyhound bus, you drop it off in New York with my uncle, and I give you about $500 to $600 just for that. And I'm like, word? And he's like, yeah. Stay tuned. My name is Pt.19. Like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.